I'm a Mancunian.
My name's Fly Davis. I'm a set and costume designer and I have designed Scuttlers at the Royal Exchange. Basically we're drawing a lot of parallels from the time when we're setting the play, which is in 1880 roughly, and during that time the gangs would use graffiti or tagging as a way of invading another gang's territory.
My name's Kelzo. I'm a graffiti artist in Manchester and have been for 30 years. I've been invited down to the Royal Exchange to take part in the set design for a new up-and-coming theatre production called Scuttlers about Manchester gangs in the 19th century. I've brought a group of people down, young people and people who've been doing the art form for a number of years, and we've tagged up all the glass panels of the theatre which are actually inside the building. So we're going to make the sort of surrounding theatre look like a modern day attack by young people in a kind of scuttling way.
Basically a part of like Manchester's history in a way, because that's what they used to do back in the day, and we're just trying to represent that now, but with our like modernist twist on it, so we can put our own in. So it's like theirs then, which is in chalk, compared to us now, which is in like these big pens.
And we've had the gift of having various brilliant graffiti artists in to do it. So I feel very honoured that they'd want to be part of it and spread the good word of what they're doing and why they're doing it, and promoting a play which is all about the history of Manchester, at the heart of Manchester, in the heart of the Exchange.
In Manchester it's alright, you know, because you've got, in Chorlton where we live, there's a graffiti wall. It's on like an old sewer station. It's quite big, and you can go down there and paint and police won't bother you. And then also at Cornbrook in Salford there's a wall, and there's one in Old Trafford as well. So there's a few in Manchester, but there could be more. Like in the subways, I don't see why it'd be illegal. Like in Stratford subways it's illegal, but it brightens the place up rather than a dark dingy subway, plain white walls, dirt on them. You may as well have bright, colourful graffiti. That's in my opinion anyway.
I go by the name as Crook, part of a gang called FMS, which is just not particularly a real gang, it's just a form of a group of people about the same sort of word collectively.
I write on it, I'm right with the crew NM and TDT, started tagging buses in 1985 because everyone else was doing it. Marking out your territory with like gang signs isn't something that's unique to graffiti. If you go to like Sao Paulo and look at the piece of shell, which is the gangs in Sao Paulo, and they write their gang symbols everywhere. If you go to Los Angeles, you see the Crips and the Bloods putting gang signs up everywhere. So in gang culture, that is obviously, it's a way of marking out, this is our territory, don't come on it.
Symbols, a lot of graffiti gangs have symbols as well. They mean something rather than just a name. They have both, such as the Scuttlers gangs do. And yeah, it's just, I think the similarity is that it's still going on, you know, like people they feel the need to leave the mark on things, you know, I don't know why, but people do feel the need to leave the mark behind, I guess, because it's a way of trying to understand why they're here in the first place.
writing on the walls has been around since prehistoric times. It's sort of this innate thing that we all want to do. We see a clean wall, we want to draw on it. It's just something sort of integral to human nature, I think. But basically, it's a lovely way of echoing what happened in the play in the Victorian times and now.
Tagging up the Royal Exchange is something that you wouldn't ever get asked, ever think you would be doing, you know, because I've got a lot of respect for beautiful old Victorian buildings in Manchester.
It feels, even though we've been given permission to do it, it still feels very anarchic actually. So I feel very privileged that we've been allowed the opportunity to do it.
I seriously wouldn't contemplate doing graffiti on any building like this, but to be invited in to write all over the place, it's really good. Really enjoyed it. And I hope that people who come to see the play like what we've done, even though it does look like a serious bout of vandalism. But obviously there's going to be art up in the building as well that we've done, so people can see that. I just think it's nice that it brings about, you know, people are making a production about kids from the 19th century and the gangs of Manchester, and it's nice to sort of show what young people are doing in this city today. You know, who are graffiti artists and who, you know, kids today want a voice just like kids did back then.
But now that I'm 18, that you get a fine, you get a record, won't be able to go to America, so I actually prefer to paint legally and spend a few hours on a piece and get it looking on point, perfect, rather than doing something rushed. However, there's two sides to it. Obviously, painting illegally, there's a rush, there's a buzz, there's looking at it the next day thinking, yeah, I did that, no one else knows you did that, and it's illegal. But also, you like to spend time, spending hours, getting it all pristine, perfect. There's two sides of both. I like them both, to be honest.
It's like when I was 20 years old, I was like publicly on the news, in the papers, I was like jailed and was referred to as a gang member. I think it's a lot more accepted, which is good. And I think a lot more people are just a bit more open to it. And I think the older connotations of, oh, graffiti means gang members, it means there's no law, you know, it's a bad area. I think graffiti gentrifies a lot of places and makes people want to come to it nowadays, especially in like Berlin.
I think you should be allowed actually to put paintings wherever you want, because to be honest, we've got no nature, like we've got nothing to do with hills or anything now. It's just all buildings and it's all boring. So when you see like a good picture, like on the back of the main, not the main, like from the back of Furrow, like we're from when we was younger, from where they've all tagged up, it just looks good because it's something other than a grey wall, isn't it? These dates are just boring.
A lot of people limit themselves in graffiti to just bombing and tagging, and it's like
no point.
You can expand a lot more and do a lot more things with it.
Well, people go, no, you're not an artist because you don't do stuff like Banksy. It's like, well, yeah, it's almost like people just think that's what you should be doing because he's the most successful. But I guess it's kind of like Picasso, like some people would disregard Picasso being an artist, you know, traditionalists would anyway.
Art's definitely going to be my career, like, it's what I'm studying at college and it's my passion, so I can't see myself having a boring 9 to 5, like, I've been interested in art for years. I'm not going to stop. Why would I stop? It's my talent and it's my passion.
In the early 1990s, you had joyriding, which was epidemic, and a lot of youths, inner city, working class youths, got into that and caused carnage, killed people, were arrested, got killed themselves. But again, it was almost like a culture from that generation. So when you've got kids in the 1860s, 1870s, being part of a gang that took on another gang in the area or another gang from across the city, you know, it was almost like, you know, we want to be part of this. It was cool at the time, yeah. Luckily, my time was inspired by the hip hop movement of the early mid 80s, which was all about positivity being creative and having a lust for life.
It's a very valid art form that is very easily overlooked and underrated as an art form, and easily dismissed by a lot of people, and it gets ignored, and actually it can be incredibly powerful, incredibly moving. It can be really witty, it can be anarchic, and it can, you know, you do have tagging and you do have illegal things that occur, but I think being able to use it in the exchange is a really exciting way of bringing it to the attention of people. And we are using tags, but we're also having on display lots of artwork from various artists, so we're showing the variety of which, you know, you can use the medium of graffiti to communicate ideas and belonging and sort of, yeah, territory, I guess, yeah.